The opera house doors burned gold against the frozen Vienna night. Inside, champagne glasses caught chandelier light like tiny stars. Outside, pressed against iron fence bars, a 9-year-old girl with dirt under her fingernails listened to two men plan a murder. She knew she should run. Disappear into the metro tunnels where the city forgot people like her existed. But her grandfather's voice echoed in her memory, rough and warm like the bread he used to bake before the soldiers came. Being brave does not mean your hands stop shaking, Katia. It means you do the right thing while they shake. Her hands were shaking now. The tall man in the charcoal suit stepped out of a black car. Graying temples. Tired eyes. The kind of tired that comes from carrying ghosts. He looked like someone who had forgotten how to smile. She had 30 seconds before he disappeared through those golden doors. 30 seconds to decide if one refugee child's voice could stop a bullet she would never see coming. The clock was ticking. She squeezed through the fence. 2 hours earlier, Katia Volkov had been doing what she did every December evening in Vienna. Surviving. The dumpster behind the opera house kitchen usually offered something. Half-eaten rolls. Fruit too bruised for the galas but perfect for a girl who had not known the word picky in 2 years. She moved with practiced silence, her thin coat doing nothing against the wind that cut through the alley like broken glass. That is when she heard them. 2 security guards. Smoking near the service entrance. Speaking Russian. Not the polite Russian of her grandmother's bedtime stories. The clipped, casual Russian of men who had done bad things so many times they forgot to whisper. The device goes in the private balcony. After the second act, when he is alone. The taller one exhaled smoke into the frozen air. Heart attack. Clean. Koslov wants him gone before the vote next week. The shorter guard laughed. It was not a happy sound. The German will not even see it coming. His wife inherits everything. She sells the company by Easter. We collect. Everyone wins. Except the German. They laughed again. Crushed their cigarettes under boots that cost more than Katia had seen in a year. Walked back inside. Katia stood frozen behind the dumpster. Her heart hammered against ribs that showed too easily through her donated sweater. The German. The vote. Private balcony. Second act. She climbed out. Wiped her hands on her jeans. Looked at the poster illuminated near the grand entrance. Vienna Philharmonic Donor Appreciation Gala. Presenting a special performance of La Traviata. Honorary guest, Dietrich von Halen, Chief Executive Officer, Von Halen Financial Group. A photograph showed the man. The same tired eyes she would see step out of the car 2 hours later. Katia could have walked away. Should have walked away. She had survived this long by being invisible. By understanding that the world did not care what happened to refugee children who spoke 5 languages but owned nothing. Girls like her did not save billionaires. They did not interrupt galas. They did not matter. Except her dedushka had mattered. Her grandfather, who taught her chess on a board made from cardboard and buttons. Who died because he pushed her into the cellar when the shelling started. Who used his body as a shield so she could live. And this German. This Dietrich von Halen. Someone loved him. Someone would lose him the way she lost her grandfather. She could stop it. Maybe. If she was brave enough. If anyone would listen to a street child with dirt under her nails and a Ukrainian accent that made her English sound broken. Katia found a spot near the fence. Waited. Watched cars arrive. Watched women in fur coats and men in tuxedos step into that golden light like they were walking into heaven. She did not belong in that world. But neither did murder. The black car pulled up at 8:15. The driver opened the rear door. The man from the poster emerged. Charcoal suit. Silver tie. He moved like someone going through motions. Muscle memory instead of joy. A woman in a red gown stepped out after him. Blonde. Beautiful. She touched his arm. Said something Katia could not hear. He nodded. Did not smile. They started toward the entrance. Katia's heart stopped. This was it. This was the moment her dedushka had prepared her for without knowing it. Every story about courage. Every chess game where he taught her to see 3 moves ahead. Every night he told her that one person's bravery could change everything. She ran. Her hands found the gap in the fence she had used a dozen times to steal kitchen scraps. She squeezed through, ignored the security guard yelling at her to stop, dodged between couples in evening wear who gasped and pulled away like she carried disease. The man in the charcoal suit was 10 feet from the door. 5 feet. Katia lunged forward, grabbed his sleeve with both hands. He turned, looked down, frowned. "Excuse me, young lady, are you lost? Where are your? They are going to kill you." The words came out in a rush. Half Ukrainian, half English. All desperation. Katia forced herself to slow down, to remember the English phrases she had practiced with the Polish woman at the shelter. After second act. Private balcony. 2 men. They speak Russian. They say make it look like heart attack. Please. Please do not go to private balcony. The man stared at her. His wife stared at her. A security guard rushed forward. "Sir, I am so sorry. I will remove her immediately." "No." Dietrich von Halen's voice cut through the cold air like a blade. "Leave her." He knelt down. Slowly. Like he was afraid she would run. His knees touched the cold pavement. His eyes were level with hers now. Grey eyes. Sad eyes. Eyes that had seen loss. "What is your name?" "Katia." "Katia. Why are you telling me this?" "Because you look like my dedushka. My grandfather. Bad men killed him. I could not stop them. But maybe I stopped them from killing you." Something broke in those grey eyes. Dietrich von Halen stood, pulled a phone from his pocket, never looked away from Katia. "Heinrich. Code Black. I need a full sweep of the private balcony. Russian-speaking operatives. Suspected device. Yes, now. Lock down the building. No one in or out until we clear it." The woman in red grabbed his arm. "Dietrich, this is insane. She is a child. She is probably. She knew about the private balcony. Greta. No one outside my security team knew I would be using it tonight." He looked back at Katia. "What exactly did you hear them say?" Katia closed her eyes. Remembered. Her memory had kept her alive on the streets. Remembering which alleys were safe. Which shopkeepers would call police. Which shelters had beds on Tuesdays. She repeated the conversation. Word for word. In Russian. Dietrich's face went white. "Call the police. Now." What happened next felt like a movie Katia had watched through a shop window once. Chaos in slow motion. Security guards flooded the entrance. Guests were moved back inside. Police sirens wailed in the distance. The woman named Greta pulled Katia close, wrapped her in a coat that smelled like expensive perfume and safety. Dietrich barked orders into his phone. Professional. Calm. But Katia saw his hand shake. 20 minutes later, 2 men in security uniforms were led out in handcuffs. One of them saw Katia. His eyes went hard. He spat something in Russian. A police officer shoved him forward. Dietrich knelt beside Katia again. They found it. A device in the balcony ventilation system. Set to release gas during the second act. "You were right. You saved my life." His voice cracked on the last word. "Katia, where are your parents?" "Dead." The word came out flat. She had said it so many times it did not hurt anymore. "Your family?" "Dead." "Where do you live?" Katia looked at the ground. Dietrich's jaw tightened. He looked at his wife. Greta's eyes were already wet. "She is coming home with us." "Dietrich." "No arguments. Greta. Look at her. She is 9 years old. She is alone. She saved my life and she is sleeping on the streets. We are taking her home." The police wanted statements. Photographs. Evidence. But Dietrich von Halen was not a man accustomed to waiting. "You can interview her tomorrow. She is a child. She is traumatized. And she is coming with me." One officer tried to argue. Dietrich made a phone call. 5 minutes later, the chief of police arrived personally to tell his officers to let the girl go. Greta wrapped Katia in her coat. Led her to the black car. The leather seats were warmer than any bed Katia had slept in for 2 years. As the car pulled away from the opera house, Katia pressed her face to the window. Watched the golden light fade behind them. She did not know where she was going. But for the first time since the war, she was not alone. The apartment overlooked the Danube River. Floor-to-ceiling windows framed the water like a painting lit by moonlight. Katia stood in the entrance. Snow melted off her coat onto marble floors that reflected chandelier light. She tried to make herself smaller. Tried not to touch anything. This was not real. This was a dream. The kind she had in the metro station on the coldest nights. Where she woke up shivering and alone, and the dream hurt worse than the cold. But then Greta's hand touched her shoulder. Warm. Real. Let us get you warm, sweetheart. The bathroom was bigger than the shelter dormitory where Katia had slept before she ran away. White marble. Gold fixtures. Towels so soft they did not feel real. Greta ran water in a tub that could fit 3 people. Take your time. I will leave clean clothes outside the door. Call if you need anything. She started to leave. Stopped. Turned back. Katia. You are safe here. Do you understand? Safe. Katia nodded. Did not trust her voice. The water was hot. Actually hot. Katia sank into it and felt 2 years of cold finally leave her bones. She scrubbed her skin with soap that smelled like flowers. Watched dirt swirl down the drain. Brown water. Grey water. Clear water. Like washing away the old life. She stayed until the water cooled. Put on the pajamas Greta had left. Soft cotton with stars on them. Sizes too big but clean. So clean. Greta waited outside with a mug of hot chocolate. They sat together in the guest room. Katia drank. Greta watched her with an expression that made Katia's chest hurt. Like she mattered. Like someone cared if she was warm or cold or alive or dead. How old are you, sweetheart? 9. I think. I do not know my exact birthday. How long have you been in Vienna? 7 months. Since Red Cross moved us from the camp. Us. Katia stared into her hot chocolate. There was a group of us. From Ukraine. But I got separated at the processing center. I could not find them again. Greta's hand trembled around her teacup. You have been alone for 7 months. I am good at being alone. No child should be good at that. Katia did not know what to say to that. Dietrich appeared in the doorway. He had changed into jeans and a sweater. Without the suit, he looked softer. More like her dedushka. The police identified the men. They work for a Russian oligarch named Mikhail Koslov. My firm has been investigating his money laundering operation. He wanted me dead before our findings go to the International Court next week. He sat on the edge of the bed. Because of you, Katia, they arrested him in Moscow an hour ago. His entire network is being dismantled. You did not just save my life. You helped stop a criminal organization. I just told you what I heard. You did more than that. You chose to act when you could have walked away. That took courage. Katia's throat felt tight. Will I have to leave Vienna now? They deport people sometimes. If I am in trouble. You are not in trouble. And you are not being deported. Dietrich looked at Greta. Something passed between them. An entire conversation in a glance. Greta spoke first. Katia, we want to talk to you about where you will stay. We would like you to stay here. With us. While we figure out legal options. If that is something you would want. Like foster care. Maybe more than that. If you want. Katia looked between them. These strangers. This impossible kindness. Why? Dietrich was quiet for a long moment. 5 years ago, we had a daughter. Emma. She was 10. Leukemia took her in 8 months. The air left Katia's lungs. We have been going through motions since then. Greta's voice was barely a whisper. Dietrich works himself to exhaustion. I volunteer at hospitals trying to fill the space she left. But nothing works. Nothing helps. We are just empty. Until last night. Dietrich leaned forward. When a brave little girl reminded me what matters. You did not have to warn me, Katia. You had every reason to stay silent. But you chose courage. Chose kindness. His voice cracked. Emma would have loved you. Tears slid down Katia's face. Hot. Real. The first tears she had let herself cry in months. I am not your daughter. No. But maybe you could be. The first week was hard. Katia did not know how to live in a home. She hoarded food in her room. Crackers. Fruit. Bread wrapped in napkins and hidden under her pillow. Just in case. Just in case this ended and she was back on the streets and hungry again. She flinched when Dietrich raised his voice on a phone call. She woke up screaming from nightmares. War sounds. Explosions. Her mother's cough. Her grandfather's voice telling her to hide. Greta found her one night. 2 in the morning. Curled in the corner of her room with a kitchen knife she had taken, just in case. Greta did not yell. Did not call her crazy. She sat on the floor beside her. Held out her hand. You are safe here, Katia. I promise. No one is going to hurt you. How do you know? Because I will not let them. Neither will Dietrich. We protect the people we love. You do not love me. You do not even know me. Greta smiled. Sad but real. I am getting to know you. And I already love the girl who was brave enough to save my husband's life. Who speaks 5 languages. Who is strong enough to survive 2 years alone. That girl is extraordinary. Slowly, Katia put down the knife. Greta taught her how to use the washing machine. Took her shopping for clothes. Real clothes. Not donations. Katia picked out jeans and sweaters and a winter coat in deep blue. At the register, Greta handed Katia the credit card. You pay. Practice your German. But You can do it. I believe in you. Katia's hands shook. But she did it. Spoke to the cashier in careful German. Completed the transaction. When they left the store, Greta hugged her. I am so proud of you. 4 words. But they hit like medicine Katia did not know she needed. Dietrich was quieter. But every night, he read to her. German fairy tales at first. Then English novels when Katia asked to practice. He sat in the chair beside her bed and read until her eyes drooped. Until the nightmares felt far away. One night, he paused in the middle of a chapter. You speak 5 languages? Ukrainian, Russian, Polish, German, English. Katia counted on her fingers. You learn fast when you need to eat. You are brilliant, Katia. I am alive. That is different. No. You are brilliant and alive. That is a powerful combination. By the second week, something shifted. Katia started saying good morning without being prompted. Started asking Dietrich about his work. Started calling Greta by her name instead of him. She laughed. Actually laughed. When Greta made a joke about burning toast. Small things. But they felt enormous. One afternoon, a woman arrived for a visit. Older. Professional. Kind eyes but a serious mouth. Katia, this is Frau Bergmann. She is a social worker. She is here to talk about your situation. Frau Bergmann sat across from Katia in the living room. Pulled out a folder thick with papers. I understand you have been staying with Herr and Frau von Halen for 2 weeks now. How has that been? Good. Do you feel safe here? Yes. Do you want to stay here? Yes. Frau Bergmann made notes. The situation is complicated, Katia. Austria has very specific laws about refugee children. About adoption. This process could take years. Years. Or it could be denied entirely. You are not related to the von Halens. They have known you for only 2 weeks. The courts will question their motives. Katia's chest tightened. What does that mean? It means we need to be patient. It means nothing is guaranteed. Dietrich stood from where he had been leaning against the wall. Frau Bergmann, with respect, I do not care how long it takes. We will do every background check. Every home study. Every interview. Whatever is required. Herr von Halen, I appreciate your commitment. But you must understand, this is highly irregular. A billionaire adopting a refugee child he has known for 2 weeks? She saved my life. That does not make you her father. Greta's voice cut through the room like steel. Love makes us her parents. Showing up every day makes us her parents. Choosing her makes us her parents. And we are not giving up. Frau Bergmann studied them. Then looked at Katia. What do you want, Katia? Katia looked at Dietrich. At Greta. At the apartment that had started to feel like home. At the people who read to her and taught her to use washing machines and said they were proud of her. I want to stay. Please. I want to stay. Frau Bergmann closed her folder. Then we will see what we can do. School started in early January. Dietrich enrolled Katia in an international academy where half the students spoke multiple languages. Where being a refugee was not shameful. Where teachers asked about her story with curiosity instead of pity. Katia was terrified. What if they do not like me? Greta knelt beside her. Fixed her collar. Smiled. They are going to love you. And if they do not, then they are fools and we will find better friends. The first day, Katia sat alone at lunch. Picked at food she was still learning not to hoard. Watched other kids laugh and talk and belong. Then a girl with dark skin and bright eyes sat down across from her. Hi. I am Sophie. You are new, right? Yes. Where are you from? Ukraine. Sophie grinned. Cool. I am from Ghana. My family moved here 3 years ago. Do you play chess? Katia blinked. Yes. My grandfather taught me. Want to join the chess club? We meet on Tuesdays. Okay. Just like that, Katia had a friend. By the end of the first week, she had 3. By the end of the month, she was leading the chess club. Her teacher, Frau Müller, called Dietrich and Greta in for a conference. I need to tell you something about Katia. Dietrich tensed. What is wrong? Nothing is wrong. She is exceptional. Her language aptitude is off the charts. She is reading at a level 3 years ahead of her age. She has a gift. Relief flooded Dietrich's face. She has been through so much. We just want her to be happy. She is happy. And thriving. Whatever you are doing, keep doing it. At home, Katia started to relax. She stopped hoarding food. She slept through most nights without screaming. She started calling Greta Miss Greta. It was not Mama. Not yet. But it was closer than. One evening, she asked a question that had been building for weeks. Papa Dietrich. Why do you and Miss Greta sleep in different rooms? Dietrich froze. He had been helping Katia with math homework. Now his pen hovered over the paper. That is complicated. Katskin. Little kitten. He had started calling her that. It made her chest feel warm. Is it because of Emma? Dietrich set down his pen. Yes. And no. When Emma died, we both broke. In different ways. I buried myself in work. Greta blamed herself. Thought she should have seen the sickness earlier. Should have done more. We stopped knowing how to be together. How to be happy. But you love each other. Yes. Then why not try to fix it? Dietrich looked at her. Really looked at her. You sound like your grandfather. He told me something. Before he died. He said the only things that stay broken are things we stop trying to fix. Dietrich's eyes filled with tears. Your grandfather was a very wise man. That night, Katia heard them talking. She did not mean to eavesdrop. But her room was next to theirs and the walls were thin and Dietrich's voice carried. She asked why we do not share a room. What did you tell her? The truth. That we are broken. Silence. Then Greta. Maybe we have been broken so long we forgot we could heal. Do you want to heal? I do not know how. Maybe we start small. Dinner together. Actually talking. Remembering why we fell in love. I never stopped loving you, Dietrich. I just forgot how to show it. Then let us remember. Together. Katia smiled into her pillow. She was not the only one learning how to live again. Over the next weeks, something changed. Greta moved back into the bedroom she used to share with Dietrich. They started holding hands during movies. Laughing at breakfast. Katia watched them fall in love again. And she realized something. She had not just saved Dietrich's life that night outside the opera house. She had saved their marriage. Their future. She had saved all of them. Spring came slowly to Vienna. Ice melted off the Danube. Trees began to bud. The city transformed from grey to green. Katia turned 10 in March. At least, that is when they decided to celebrate. Since she did not know her real birthday, Greta let her pick a date. March 15th. The day my grandfather taught me to play chess. Perfect. They threw a party. Small. Just Sophie and 2 other friends from school. Frau Bergmann came. Even Dietrich's assistant brought a gift. Katia blew out 10 candles on a cake Greta had made from scratch. "What did you wish for?" Greta asked. Katia smiled. "I cannot tell you, or it will not come true." But the truth was, she did not need to wish for anything. Everything she wanted was already here. That evening, after her friends went home, Dietrich sat beside her on the couch. "I have something for you." He handed her a small box. Inside was a necklace. Silver chain. A pendant shaped like a tiny knight from a chess set. "Your grandfather taught you chess. Chess teaches strategy, patience, how to think 3 moves ahead. He gave you tools to survive. This is to remember him, to honor him." Katia's hands shook as Dietrich fastened it around her neck. "Thank you, Papa Dietrich." The word slipped out. Papa. She had not meant to say it. It just came. Natural. Right. Dietrich went very still. Katia looked up at him. "Is that okay? Can I call you that?" Dietrich pulled her into a hug. His shoulders shook. He was crying. "It is more than okay. It is everything." Greta appeared in the doorway. Saw them. Pressed her hand to her mouth. "She called you Papa." Dietrich nodded. Could not speak. Greta joined them on the couch. Wrapped her arms around both of them. They sat like that for a long time. A family. Not by blood. By choice. But happiness made them vulnerable. In April, Frau Bergmann arrived with news. The adoption petition has been submitted to the court. Background checks are complete. Home studies are scheduled for next month. That is good, right? Dietrich asked. It is progress. But I need to warn you. The process could still take a year. Maybe more. And there are no guarantees. What can we do to help? Be patient. Be consistent. Keep providing Katia with stability and love. The court will be watching. After Frau Bergmann left, Greta held Katia close. No matter what happens. No matter how long it takes. You are ours. Do you understand? Katia nodded against her shoulder. But fear crept in at night. What if the court said no? What if they decided she belonged in a group home? What if this was all temporary? She started having nightmares again. One night, she woke up screaming. Dietrich was there in seconds. Greta right behind him. They are taking me away. Katia sobbed. The dream. They said I have to go back. That I do not belong here. Dietrich sat on the edge of her bed. Pulled her close. That is not going to happen. You do not know that. I know this. I will fight for you, Katia. With everything I have. Every lawyer. Every appeal. Every legal option. You are my daughter. And I do not give up on my daughter. Greta sat on the other side. Held Katia's hand. We chose you, sweetheart. That does not change. Courts and paperwork and legal processes, those are just formalities. In every way that matters, you are already ours. Katia wanted to believe them. But she had learned not to trust good things. Good things disappeared. Good things were taken away. Nothing good lasted. Except every morning, Dietrich made her breakfast. Except every night, Greta tucked her in. Except every weekend, they did something together. Museums. Parks. Movies. Except they showed up. Day after day after day. And slowly, Katia started to believe. Maybe this time, good things could last. Maybe this time, she got to keep what she loved. Maybe this time, she was home. The home study happened in May. A different social worker. Younger. Sharper eyes. His name was Herr Klein. He inspected every room. Asked 1,000 questions. Watched how Katja and Dietrich and Greta interacted. Katja, do you have your own space here? Yes. My room. Can you show me? They walked down the hall. Katja opened the door to her room. Purple walls. Greta had let her pick the color. Bookshelves full of novels in 4 languages. A desk where she did homework. Photos on the wall. Her and Sophie at the chess tournament. Her and Greta baking. Her and Dietrich at the museum. This is lovely. Herr Klein made notes. Do you feel like this is your home? Yes. Why? Katja thought about it. Because they do not treat me like a guest. They treat me like I belong. Like I matter. Like they want me here. Do you want to be here? More than anything. Herr Klein interviewed Dietrich next. Why do you want to adopt Katja? Because she is my daughter. Has been since the moment she saved my life. I want to make it legal because it is already real in every way that counts. You are a very wealthy man, Herr von Halen. You could provide financial support without adoption. Why take on the full responsibility? Because love is not about money. It is about showing up. Being present. Choosing someone every single day. I choose Katja. I will always choose Katja. What if the court denies your petition? Then I appeal. And if that fails, I appeal again. I will fight for as long as it takes. Herr Klein made notes. Then he interviewed Greta. You lost a daughter. Are you trying to replace her? Greta's eyes flashed. No one could replace Emma. But Emma's death does not mean I have no more love to give. Katja is not a replacement. She is a gift. A second chance at being a mother. At building a family. At choosing joy instead of grief. How has your marriage changed since Katja arrived? Greta smiled. We talk again. Laugh again. We were drowning in grief. Katja gave us a reason to swim. She saved my husband's life. But she also saved our marriage. Our future. That evening, after Herr Klein left, they sat together in the living room. Katja curled between Dietrich and Greta on the couch. How do you think it went? Dietrich asked Greta. I think we told the truth. That is all we can do. Katja played with her chess piece necklace. What happens if they say no? Dietrich kissed the top of her head. They will not. But what if? Then we fight. Together. As a family. Katja wanted to believe him. But doubt whispered in the back of her mind. Good things do not last. Not for girls like her. The call came on a Tuesday in June. Dietrich was at work. Greta was home with Katja. They were baking cookies. Chocolate chip. Greta's specialty. The phone rang. Greta answered. Listened. Her face went pale. Yes. Yes, I understand. Thank you. She hung up. Turned to Katja. That was Frau Bergmann. Katja's heart stopped. And? The court wants to meet you. All 3 of us. Next week. They are making a decision. Greta pulled Katja into a hug. This is good news, sweetheart. They would not schedule a meeting if they were going to deny it outright. But they might still say no. They might. But we will face it together. When Dietrich came home, Greta told him. He sat down heavily. Next week. Next week. They spent the week preparing. Practicing what Katja might say. Making sure she understood the process. Reminding her that no matter what happened, they loved her. The night before the court date, Katja could not sleep. She knocked on Dietrich and Greta's bedroom door. Come in. They were reading in bed. Greta set down her book. Cannot sleep, sweetheart? Katja shook her head. Dietrich pulled back the covers. Come here. Katja climbed into bed between them. Safe. What if they say no? Katja whispered. What if I am not good enough? Greta turned to face her. Listen to me, Katja. You are more than good enough. You are extraordinary. And if the court cannot see that, then the system is broken. Not you. Never you. But what if I have to leave? Dietrich's voice was firm. You are not leaving. One way or another, you are staying with us. Even if I have to fight this battle for the next 10 years. You are ours. That is not changing. Katia felt tears slide down her face. I love you. Both of you. Greta kissed her forehead. We love you too, baby. So much. They fell asleep like that. 3 hearts learning to beat as one. The courthouse was old. Stone columns. High ceilings. Everything echoed. Katia wore the blue dress Greta had bought for special occasions. Her chess-piece necklace. Her hair in braids Sophie had taught her to do. Dietrich wore a suit. Greta wore something elegant and cream-colored. They looked like a family. Katia prayed they would get to stay one. Frau Bergmann met them outside the courtroom. The judge is fair. Be honest. Be yourselves. That is all you can do. They entered. The judge was a woman. Older. Grey hair pulled back. Reading glasses perched on her nose. She looked up as they Saturday. Good morning. I am Judge Richter. I have reviewed your case thoroughly. Before I make my decision, I would like to speak with each of you. She looked at Dietrich first. Herr von Halen. You are a busy man. CEO of a major financial firm. You travel frequently. How do you plan to balance that with raising a child? Dietrich did not hesitate. I have already made changes, Your Honor. I cut my travel by 70%. I delegated major projects. I work from home 3 days a week. My daughter comes first. Always. Your daughter. You have known Katia for 5 months. 5 months or 5 years. It does not change what I know to be true. She is mine. I am hers. Family is not about time. It is about commitment. Judge Richter made notes. She turned to Greta. Frau von Halen. You lost a daughter 5 years ago. How can the court be certain you are ready to parent again? Greta's voice was steady. I will never be fully ready. Grief does not work that way. But I know this. Emma's death taught me how precious life is. How important it is to love fiercely while we can. Katia deserves that fierce love. I am ready to give it to her. And if old wounds resurface, then we will face them as a family. With honesty. With therapy if needed. But I will not let my grief rob Katia of the mother she deserves. Or rob me of the joy of being her mother. Judge Richter nodded. Then she looked at Katia. Katia, do you understand what adoption means? It means they will be my legal parents. Forever. And is that what you want? Yes. Why? Katia took a breath. Because they chose me when they did not have to. Because they see me. Not the refugee. Not the poor girl. Me. Katia. They love me. They show up every day. They make me feel like I matter. Her voice cracked. I spent 2 years invisible. They made me visible. They made me family. I want that to be forever. Judge Richter was quiet for a long moment. She looked at the file in front of her. Then she looked up. Adoption is serious. It is permanent. There is no trial period. No returns. You become legally bound to each other for life. She paused. I have seen many cases in my career. Many people who want children for the wrong reasons. But this. She gestured to the 3 of them. This is different. I see genuine love. Genuine commitment. A child who has found safety. Parents who have found purpose. Katia's heart pounded so hard she thought everyone could hear it. Based on the evidence presented. The home studies. The background checks. The testimonies. And what I have seen here today. I am granting the petition. Greta gasped. Effective immediately, Katia Volkov will legally become Katia von Halen. Herr and Frau von Halen, you are now her legal parents. Congratulations. The gavel came down. And just like that, Katia had a family. Legal. Official. Forever. Dietrich pulled her into his arms. Greta wrapped around both of them. All three of them crying. Judge Richter smiled. Go celebrate. You have earned it. Outside the courthouse, the sun was shining. Katia von Halen looked up at her parents. Her legal, official, forever parents. Can we get ice cream? Dietrich laughed through his tears. We can get whatever you want. They walked down the courthouse steps hand in hand. A family. Not by blood. By choice. By love. And nothing in the world could take that away. But Katia was about to learn something important. Happy endings do not mean the story is over. They just mean the next chapter begins. And sometimes, the next chapter brings new storms. As they celebrated with ice cream in the park, Dietrich's phone rang. He glanced at the screen. Frowned. Excuse me. I need to take this. He walked a few feet away. Listened. His face went pale. When? He closed his eyes. I understand. Increase security immediately. Yes. All of us. He hung up. Returned to where Katia and Greta sat on a bench. What is wrong? Greta asked. Mikhail Koslov was released from prison this morning. On a technicality. His lawyers found a procedural error. Katia's ice cream suddenly tasted like metal. Is he coming here? We do not know. But my head of security wants to take precautions. Just in case. Greta pulled Katia close. We will be fine. We have security. The police know. He would be insane to try anything. Men like Koslov do not think like normal people. Dietrich's voice was grim. He blames me for destroying his empire. And he knows about Katia. Knows she was the witness who identified his men. Fear wrapped around Katia's chest like ice. She had thought it was over. She had thought they were safe. But the world does not let you stay safe just because you want to. Not when powerful men hold grudges. Not when you are the reason they lost everything. Dietrich knelt in front of her. Listen to me, Katskin. I will not let anything happen to you. I promise. But Katia had heard promises before. Her mother promised she would get better. Her grandfather promised he would keep her safe. Promises did not stop cancer. Promises did not stop bombs. And promises might not stop whatever Mikhail Koslov had planned. The apartment felt different with fear in it. Katia noticed the small changes first. The security guard who now sat in the lobby 24 hours a day. The cameras installed at every entrance. The way Dietrich checked his phone constantly. The way Greta's smile did not quite reach her eyes. They tried to hide it. Tried to act normal. But Katia had survived 2 years on the streets by reading danger in the air. She knew when adults were scared. And they were terrified. 3 days after the courthouse. 3 days after becoming Katia von Halen. 3 days into forever. And already, the past was coming back to destroy it. She found Dietrich in his office late at night. He was on the phone. Speaking low. His face looked older in the blue computer light. I do not care what it costs. I want surveillance on him every second. If he breathes wrong, I want to know. He hung up. Saw Katia in the doorway. You should be asleep, Katskin. I had a bad dream. It was not entirely a lie. Dietrich opened his arms. She climbed into his lap like she used to with her grandfather. Safe. Warm. Real. Tell me the truth, Papa. Are we in danger? Dietrich was quiet for a long moment. I promised I would never lie to you. So yes. There might be danger. Mikhail Koslov is angry. He lost everything because his men were arrested. He blames me. He might blame you too. Katia's chest tightened. I should leave. Go somewhere else. Then you and Mama Greta would be safe. The words hurt to say. But if her being here put them in danger. Dietrich pulled back. Looked her in the eyes. Do not ever say that again. Do you hear me? You are our daughter. We do not send our daughter away because things get hard. We protect her. We fight for her. Together. But what if? No. His voice was firm. We are family, Katia. That means we face danger together. Not apart. Never apart. Greta appeared in the doorway. She had been listening. He is right, sweetheart. You are not going anywhere. We knew there might be risks when we chose to adopt you. We chose you anyway. That does not change now. Katia wanted to believe them. But fear whispered in her mind. Everyone she loved disappeared. Her mother. Her grandfather. The other children from the camp. Everyone left. What if this family disappeared too? What if loving them was not enough to keep them safe? The threat came on a Sunday morning. They were having breakfast. Pancakes. Dietrich's specialty. He had learned to make them for Katia. She loved them with strawberries and too much syrup. Dietrich's phone buzzed. He glanced at it. Went very still. Greta saw his face. What is it? He turned the phone so they could see. An email. No sender name. Just a message. You took everything from me. Now I take everything from you. Starting with the girl. Below the words, a photograph. Katia leaving school on Friday. Clear. Close. Like someone had been standing right there. Greta's hand flew to her mouth. Dietrich was already dialing. Heinrich. We have a credible threat. I am sending you something. I want Katia pulled from school immediately. Full security detail. And I want Koslov found. Now. He hung up. Looked at Katia. Pack a bag. We are leaving. Where are we going? Somewhere safe. Somewhere he cannot find us. Within an hour, they were in a car. Tinted windows. 2 security vehicles in front. 2 behind. Katia watched Vienna disappear through the window. The city that had been her home for almost a year. The city where she had learned to be a daughter instead of a survivor. Now they were running again. She thought she was done running. They drove for 3 hours. Into the mountains. To a house Katia had never seen before. Stone walls. Surrounded by forest. A gate that required 3 codes to open. This is one of my properties. Dietrich helped her out of the car. No one knows about it except my head of security. We will stay here until this is resolved. The house was beautiful. But it felt like a cage. Katia stood at the window. Watched trees sway in wind. Felt trapped. Greta sat beside her. I know this is hard. I thought it was over. I thought we were safe. Safety is not about never facing danger, sweetheart. It is about facing it with people who will not let you face it alone. How long do we have to hide? I do not know. But however long it takes, we are here. Together. That night, Katia could not sleep. She heard Dietrich and Greta talking in the next room. If he tries anything, I will kill him myself. Greta's voice. Cold. Fierce. We will not have to. The police are closing in. He made a mistake threatening us directly. They have enough to arrest him again. And if they do not find him in time, then our security team will. What if he gets to her, Dietrich? What if? Greta's voice broke. He will not. I will die before I let anyone hurt our daughter. Katia pressed her face into her pillow. Die. Everyone she loved was willing to die for her. But she did not want anyone to die. She just wanted to be normal. To go to school. Play chess. Bake cookies with Greta. Read with Dietrich. To be a family without fear. Was that too much to ask? Apparently, yes. Because the world did not care what you wanted. It took and took and took until you had nothing left. But then Katia remembered something her grandfather had told her. The world takes. But brave people take back. She sat up. Maybe hiding was the wrong move. Maybe there was another way. She found Dietrich in the kitchen at dawn. Making coffee. He looked like he had not slept. Papa. He turned. What are you doing up so early? I have an idea. Dietrich gestured for her to sit. I am listening. What if we do not hide? What if we give Koslov what he wants? Dietrich's face went hard. Absolutely not. You are not bait, Katia. I will not. Not me. You. He wants revenge on you. So let him think he can have it. I do not understand. What if you go somewhere public? Somewhere he would expect you to be. But it is a trap. Police waiting. Security everywhere. You draw him out. Catch him. Dietrich stared at her. You are 10 years old. How did you just outline a counterintelligence operation? I learned to think 3 moves ahead. Chess. Remember? Despite everything, Dietrich smiled. You are extraordinary. So will it work? Let me talk to Heinrich. 2 hours later, Heinrich Fogel arrived. Dietrich's head of security. Tall. Military background. Eyes that missed nothing. He listened to Katya's plan. It could work. We would need police cooperation. A controlled environment. But yes. It could work. Dietrich shook his head. It is too risky. If something goes wrong. If we do nothing, we hide forever. Heinrich leaned forward. The girl is right. We need to be proactive. Draw him out on our terms. And if he does not take the bait, then we try something else. But Herr von Halen, running is not a long-term solution. Eventually, you have to fight. Dietrich looked at Katya. You are sure about this? No. But I am sure I do not want to live in fear. I am sure I want my life back. Our life. Dietrich closed his eyes. When did you get so brave? I have always been brave. I just did not always know it. The plan was simple. Dietrich would attend a charity gala in Vienna the following week. Public. High profile. The kind of event Koslov would know about. Security would be everywhere. Undercover police. Hidden cameras. Escape routes planned. And if Koslov made a move, they would be ready. Greta hated it. You are using yourself as bait. I am ending this. There is a difference. What if something happens to you? Dietrich pulled her close. It will not. But if it does, you take care of Katya. You keep living. You keep loving. You do not let fear win. Greta cried into his shoulder. Katya watched them. Saw the love. The fear. The desperation to protect each other. And she understood something. Family was not just about safety. It was about being willing to fight for each other. Even when you were terrified. Especially then. The night before the gala, Dietrich read to Katya. Their ritual. Every night. No matter what. Tonight, he chose a different book. The Little Prince. He read the part about the fox. About how taming someone means creating ties. About how you become responsible forever for what you tame. You tamed us, Katskin. You created ties we cannot break. No matter what happens tomorrow, that does not change. Katya reached for his hand. You tamed me too, Papa. I was wild before. Scared. Alone. You made me yours. And you made us a family again. They sat in silence. Then Katya asked the question that had been burning in her chest. What if Koslov wins tomorrow? What if he hurts you? He will not. But what if? Then you keep going. You live a big, beautiful life. You do not let my death make you small. Dietrich's voice was steady. You survived war, Katya. You survived loss. You are the strongest person I know. If something happens to me, you will survive that too. And you will be extraordinary. I do not want to survive you. I want to keep you. I know. And I am going to fight like hell to stay. But if I cannot, you need to promise me something. What? Promise me you will not stop being brave. Promise me you will not close your heart. Promise me you will keep loving fiercely even when it hurts. Katya's tears fell hot and fast. I promise. Good girl. The gala was at the same opera house where Katya had first saved Dietrich's life. Full circle. Ironic. Terrifying. Katya and Greta watched from a secure location. A hotel room across the street. Screens showing every camera angle. Heinrich and his team coordinated through earpieces. Katya watched Dietrich enter the opera house. He looked calm. Confident. But she knew him now. Knew the slight tightness around his eyes meant he was afraid. Mama. She had started calling Greta that last week. It felt right. Natural. Greta squeezed her hand. He is going to be fine. You do not know that. No. But I believe it. And sometimes belief is all we have. They watched Dietrich mingle. Shake hands. Accept congratulations on his recent adoption. Normal. Boring. An hour passed. 2. Nothing happened. Maybe Koslov was not coming. Maybe the plan failed. Maybe. Movement on one of the screens. Heinrich's voice crackled through the speaker. We have eyes on a suspect. Eastern entrance. Male. 40s. Matches Koslov's description. Greta's hand tightened on Katya's. Do not approach yet. Let him make the first move. On screen, the man moved through the crowd. Closer to Dietrich. Closer. Katya stopped breathing. The man reached into his jacket. Now. Heinrich's voice sharp. 6 undercover officers moved at once. Grabbed the man before he could pull whatever he was reaching for. Shouting. Chaos. Guests screaming. But Dietrich was already surrounded by security. Moved toward an exit. Safe. The man fought. Yelled something in Russian. Police wrestled him to the ground. Heinrich's voice again. Subject in custody. Repeat. Subject in custody. Von Halen is secure. Greta burst into tears. Katya felt her knees go weak. It was over. Actually over. Dietrich arrived at the hotel room 20 minutes later. Still in his tuxedo. Hair slightly mussed. But whole. Safe. Alive. Katya launched herself at him. He caught her. Held her tight. I told you. I promised. Greta wrapped around both of them. They stood like that for a long time. A family that almost broke. But did not. Mikhail Koslov was arrested that night. Charged with attempted murder. Violating parole. Making terroristic threats. His lawyers could not save him this time. He was sentenced to 25 years. No parole. No second chances. The threat was gone. Finally. Completely. Gone. The day after the sentencing, they returned to their apartment in Vienna. Katya walked through rooms that felt like home again. Safe. Warm. Theirs. That evening, Dietrich made an announcement at dinner. I have been thinking about what comes next. About how we move forward. And I have an idea. Greta raised an eyebrow. Should I be worried? Maybe excited. He smiled. What if we started a foundation? For refugee children. Kids like Katya who need families. Who need support. Who need someone to see them. Katya's heart jumped. Really? Really? We could provide housing assistance. Legal help. Education support. Everything you needed and did not get. We could help hundreds of children. Thousands. Greta's eyes lit up. We could change lives. We could call it the Emma and Katya Foundation. After my sister who I lost. And my daughter who I found. Dietrich looked at Katya. What do you think, Katskin? Want to help change the world? Katya felt tears slide down her face. Yes, yes. 1,000 times yes. They spent the next months building it. Dietrich handled the legal and financial structure. Greta managed outreach and operations. Katya helped design programs. What would have helped her? What did refugee children need most? Safety. First and always. A place to sleep without fear. Then food. Real food. Warm food. Then education. Language classes. School enrollment. Tutors. Then community. People who cared. People who saw them. The foundation launched in September. A gala. Ironic to hold it at the Opera House. But Dietrich insisted. We are reclaiming this place. Taking back the narrative. Fear does not win here. Hope does. Katya wore a purple dress. Her chess-piece necklace. She was 11 now. Taller. Braver. Still learning what it meant to be safe. She stood on stage beside her parents. Dietrich gave a speech about second chances, about how one brave girl changed his entire life. Greta talked about turning grief into purpose, about honoring the daughter they lost by helping children who needed love. Then it was Katya's turn. She looked at the audience. Hundreds of people. Wealthy donors. Politicians. Press. She thought about the girl she used to be. Invisible. Starving. Alone. And she spoke. My name is Katya von Halen. 2 years ago, my name was Katya Volkov. I was a refugee. I lived on the streets. I was invisible. People stepped over me, around me, through me, like I was not there. She paused. But I was there. I was a person. A child. Someone who mattered. I just needed someone to see me, to choose me, to believe I was worth saving. Tears in the audience now. My papa and mama did that. They saw me. They chose me. And now I am here. Safe. Loved. Home. But there are thousands of children like me. Still invisible. Still alone. Still waiting for someone to see them. Her voice grew stronger. The Emma and Katya Foundation will see them. We will provide housing, food, education, legal help. Everything a child needs to not just survive, but to thrive. Because every child deserves to be seen, to be chosen, to matter. She looked at Dietrich and Greta. My parents taught me that family is not about blood. It is about choice. About showing up. About loving fiercely even when it is hard. We want to teach other children that too. We want to give them families. Give them hope. The audience stood. Applauded. Several people were crying openly. Katya stepped back from the microphone. Dietrich pulled her close. Whispered in her ear. Emma would be so proud of you. I am so proud of you. That night, they raised $2.4 million. By the end of the year, they helped 300 children. By the end of the second year, 1,000. The foundation grew, expanded to other cities, other countries, and everywhere it went, children found families, found hope. Because one girl was brave enough to warn a stranger about danger. And that stranger was brave enough to listen. If you have stayed with this story from the beginning, you already know what real courage looks like. It is not the absence of fear. It is choosing love anyway. Choosing to fight. Choosing to believe good things can last. If this story is touching something in you, do not just watch. Engage. Subscribe to this channel. Share this video with someone who needs to remember they matter. Comment below and tell me. What is one thing you will fight for? What is one person worth being brave for? Let us build a community of people who refuse to let fear win. Because this story is not over yet. There is still more to come. 2 years after the foundation launched, Greta made a suggestion. We should go back. Back where? To Ukraine. To Katya's village. She should see it. Remember it. Honor the people she lost. Katya was 13 now. Taller. Her English nearly perfect. But she still spoke Ukrainian with Greta, who had been learning. Do you want to go? Greta asked her gently. I do not know. It will hurt. Yes. But maybe it will also heal. Dietrich agreed. We will go together. As a family. You can show us where you are from. Who you were. We will honor them with you. They traveled in the summer. The village was smaller than Katya remembered. Or maybe she was just bigger. The houses were still destroyed. Walls pocked with bullet holes. Roofs caved in. Nature reclaiming what war had abandoned. Katya walked through streets she used to know. This was the bakery where Dedushka bought bread every morning. This was the school where Mama worked before she got sick. This was our house. She stood in front of rubble. Tried to picture it whole. Failed. Greta took her hand. Tell me about it. What was it like? Small. Yellow walls. Mama planted flowers in the window boxes. Sunflowers. She loved sunflowers. Greta wiped tears from her eyes. We will plant sunflowers when we get home. In our window boxes. For her. The cemetery was overgrown. Weeds everywhere. Graves unmarked or toppled. But Katia found them. Her mother's grave. Her grandfather's. She knelt between them. Placed flowers she had brought from Vienna. Mama. Didushka. I am okay. I am safe now. I have a family. A papa and a mama who love me. I miss you every day. But I am not alone anymore. She touched the earth. Didushka, you were right. Being brave means doing the right thing even when your hands shake. I was brave. I saved someone. And he saved me back. You would like him. You would like them both. Dietrich knelt beside her. Thank you for raising such an extraordinary granddaughter. For teaching her courage. For giving your life to protect hers. I promise I will honor that. I will keep her safe. Always. Greta knelt on Katia's other side. I will love her like you loved her. Fiercely. Completely. She will always know she is cherished. They stayed until the sun began to set. Then walked back through the village together. Katia looked back once. Said goodbye to the girl she used to be. The one who was scared. Alone. Invisible. That girl was gone. In her place was someone new. Someone brave. Someone loved. Someone who mattered. Someone who would make sure other children mattered too. When Katia turned 16, something unexpected happened. Dietrich and Greta sat her down at dinner. We want to talk to you about something. Okay. Greta pulled out a photograph. Her name is Amira. She is 7 years old. Syrian refugee. She has been in camps for 3 years. Alone. Katia's breath caught. The girl in the photo had huge dark eyes. Tangled hair. An expression Katia recognized instantly. Fear. Hope. Desperation. She looks like me. When you found me. Exactly like you. Dietrich leaned forward. We have been thinking about expanding our family. Adopting again. But only if you are okay with it. This is your home too. You get a say. You want to adopt her? We want to give her what we gave you. A family. Safety. Love. But we will not do it if you are not comfortable. Katia looked at the photograph. Saw herself at 9 years old. Dirty. Scared. Invisible. Remembered what it felt like when someone finally saw her. When someone chose her. How could she deny another child that? Yes. Absolutely yes. Let us bring her home. Greta cried. Dietrich smiled. You are going to be an amazing big sister. The paperwork took 6 months. But in December, 3 years after Katia's own adoption was finalized, they flew to Turkey to pick up Amira. She was so small. Malnourished. Scared. She spoke only Arabic and broken English. But when Katia knelt in front of her and said hello in Arabic, Amira's eyes widened. You speak my language? I speak 5 languages. I will teach you. I will teach you everything. Amira looked at Dietrich and Greta. Are they nice? They are the best. They saved me. Now they are going to save you too. On the plane home, Amira fell asleep with her head on Katia's shoulder. Greta watched them. Whispered to Dietrich. Look at her. Look at our daughter. She is giving Amira what we gave her. The cycle continues. That is how it is supposed to work. We help someone. They help someone else. Love multiplies. At home, Amira was overwhelmed. The apartment was too big. Too bright. Too much. She hoarded food like Katia used to. Woke up screaming from nightmares. Flinched at loud noises. Katia understood all of it. Sat with her. Patient. Kind. I know you are scared. I was too. But I promise you are safe here. They will not hurt you. They will love you. How do you know? Because they loved me. And I was nobody. Just a street kid. But they saw me anyway. They will see you too. Slowly, Amira began to trust. Greta taught her to bake. Dietrich read to her every night. Katia helped her with homework. taught her German, English, played chess with her. Within months, Amira was smiling. Within a year, she was thriving. And Katia learned something profound. Being saved was beautiful. But saving someone else? That was transcendent. Katia graduated top of her class at 18. Scholarships to universities across Europe. She chose law. International human rights law. She wanted to fight for children like her. Like Amira. Children the system forgot. At her graduation, she gave a speech. I stand here today because 10 years ago, I made a choice. I could have stayed silent. Stayed invisible. Let a man die because it was not my problem. But my grandfather taught me that courage means acting even when you are afraid. She looked at Dietrich and Greta in the audience. That choice changed 3 lives. A billionaire learned what mattered. His wife learned to love again. And a refugee child learned she was worth saving. From that choice, a foundation was born. A foundation that has now helped 50,000 children find families. Find hope. Tears in the audience. I'm going to spend my life fighting for those children. The invisible ones. The forgotten ones. The ones the world steps over. Because every single one of them matters. Every single one deserves to be seen. She held up her chess piece necklace. My grandfather taught me to think 3 moves ahead. Here is what I see. A future where no child sleeps on streets. Where every orphan finds a family. Where courage and kindness are not rare, but normal. That is the world I am fighting for. Will you fight with me? The audience stood. Roared approval. After the ceremony, Amira ran to her. That was amazing. You are amazing. Katia hugged her little sister. You are going to do amazing things too. I know it. How do you know? Because you are brave. Just like me. Just like Mama and Papa taught us to be. Dietrich and Greta joined them. Pulled both girls close. A family of 4 now. Built from choice. From courage. From love that refused to quit. We are so proud of you, Katskin. Dietrich's voice was thick with emotion. You were always going to be extraordinary. But watching you become who you are meant to be, that is the greatest honor of my life. Greta kissed her forehead. Emma would be so proud. We are so proud. Katia looked at them. Her family. Not by blood. By something stronger. Thank you for seeing me. For choosing me. For teaching me that I mattered. You always mattered. We just helped you see it. Years passed. Katia graduated law school. Joined the United Nations. Worked in refugee policy. Amira followed in her footsteps. Studied international relations. Became an advocate for Syrian refugees. The foundation expanded to 20 countries. Helped hundreds of thousands of children. Changed laws. Influenced policy. Saved lives. Dietrich stepped back from business entirely. Focused on the foundation full-time. Greta ran education programs. Traveled the world opening new centers. They were in their 60s now. Graying. Slower. But no less passionate. One evening, all 4 of them sat on the balcony overlooking the Danube. The same balcony where Katia had first arrived. Scared. Dirty. Alone. Now she was 25. Confident. Purposeful. Loved. Remember the first night I came here? Katia asked. How could we forget? Dietrich smiled. You were so small. So scared. But even then, I saw the fire in you. I did not feel brave. You were. You have always been brave. Amira leaned against Katia's shoulder. Tell me the story again. How you saved Papa. Katia smiled. It was a cold December night. I was hungry. Alone. Invisible. But I heard 2 men planning murder. And I had a choice. Stay silent and safe. Or speak up and risk everything. You chose courage. I chose to care. About a stranger. About doing what was right. And that choice changed everything. Greta reached for Dietrich's hand. It saved all of us. They sat in comfortable silence, watching the river flow, watching the city lights flicker on. A family that almost never was, but chose to be, against all odds. On Katia's 30th birthday, she received an award from the United Nations. Outstanding Achievement in Refugee Advocacy. The ceremony was in Geneva. Packed auditorium. Diplomats, activists, press from around the world. Katia stood at the podium in a blue dress, her chess-piece necklace still around her neck after all these years. She looked at the audience, saw Dietrich and Greta, older now, Dietrich's hair fully grey, Greta moving slower, but their eyes bright with pride. Saw Amira, 21, beautiful, strong, studying for her master's degree. Saw representatives from the foundation, staff who dedicated their lives to helping children. Saw families they had united, children who were no longer alone. And she spoke. When I was 9 years old, I was invisible. A refugee child sleeping in metro stations, digging through dumpsters for food. The world looked at me and saw nothing. Nothing worth saving. Nothing worth noticing. She paused. But I was there. I was a person. I had a name. A history. Dreams. I mattered. I just needed someone to see me. Tears already in the audience. One night, I overheard 2 men planning murder. I could have stayed silent. It was not my problem. I was nobody. Who would listen to a street child? But my grandfather had taught me something. That courage is not about being unafraid. It is about acting despite your fear. About doing what is right even when your hands shake. So I warned a stranger. A billionaire I had never met. I told him his life was in danger. And he listened. He believed me. He saved himself. But more than that, he saved me. He and his wife saw me. Really saw me. They chose me. Gave me a family. Gave me a future. Gave me the tools to stand here today. Katia's voice grew stronger. From that one choice, that one moment of courage, a ripple began. The Emma and Katia Foundation was born. We have now helped over 100,000 children. 100,000 invisible children who are now seen. Who are now home. But the work is not done. There are millions more. Children sleeping on streets tonight. Children afraid. Alone. Invisible. Children who matter just as much as I did. Just as much as anyone in this room. She looked directly at the camera. So I am asking you, what will you do? Will you see them? Will you choose courage? Will you act even when it is hard? Even when it is scary? Even when it costs you something? Because that is how the world changes. One choice at a time. One child at a time. One act of courage rippling outward forever. She held up her necklace. My grandfather taught me to think 3 moves ahead. Here is what I see. A world where every child has a family. Where no one is invisible. Where courage and kindness are not extraordinary, but ordinary. Where love wins. That is the world we are building. Move by move. Choice by choice. Together. The auditorium erupted. Standing ovation. People crying openly. After the ceremony, reporters swarmed. Questions. Cameras. Microphones. But Katia only wanted her family. She found them waiting. Dietrich pulled her into a hug. Your grandfather would be so proud. So would Emma. Greta added. You honored them both. You honored everyone who believed in you. Amira hugged her tight. You are my hero. You know that? Katia smiled. You are going to be someone's hero too. You already are. That evening, they had dinner at a small restaurant. Just the 4 of them. No press. No cameras. No speeches. Just family. Dietrich raised his glass. To Katia, who saved my life in every possible way. To all of us. Greta added. For choosing each other. For being brave. For building something beautiful. To second chances. Amira said. They clinked glasses, drank, laughed, told old stories, made new memories. And in that moment, Katia felt it. Complete peace. She had spent so many years running, fighting, surviving. But here, now, she was home. Not a place. A feeling. A family. Forever. 3 years later, Dietrich got sick. Cancer. Stage 4. The doctors gave him 6 months. He made it 14. Fought every single day. Not because he was afraid to die, but because he was not ready to leave them. Near the end, Katia sat beside his hospital bed. Held his hand. Thin now. Fragile. Papa. Her voice broke. Katskin. His voice was weak. But his eyes were clear. I need you to promise me something. Anything. Keep fighting. For the children. For the foundation. For everything we built. Do not let my death slow you down. I do not know how to do this without you. Yes, you do. I taught you everything I know. You are ready. Tears streamed down her face. I am not ready to lose you. I know. But Katia, listen to me. Death is not losing. I lived. Really lived. Because of you. You gave me purpose. Joy. A reason to be better. That is a gift. The greatest gift. He squeezed her hand. You were supposed to be the one who was saved. But you saved me. You saved all of us. And now you are going to save thousands more. That is your legacy. That is what I am most proud of. I love you, Papa. I love you too. Forever. He died that night. Greta beside him. Katia and Amira holding his hands. Peaceful. Loved. Complete. The funeral was massive. Hundreds of people. Dignitaries. Families the foundation had helped. Children who called him Uncle Dietrich. Katia gave the eulogy. She stood at the podium. Looked at the casket. My father was not supposed to be my father. I was not supposed to be his daughter. We were strangers. From different worlds. Our lives should never have intersected. But I heard 2 men whispering in Russian. And I chose to be brave. And he chose to listen. And from that choice, everything changed. Her voice did not waver. Dietrich von Halen taught me that family is not about biology. It is about choice. About showing up. About loving fiercely even when it is hard. He chose me when he did not have to. Fought for me. Believed in me. Gave me everything. And now I will honor him the only way I know how. By continuing the work. By helping more children. By making sure his legacy lives forever. She looked at the casket. Thank you, Papa. For seeing me. For choosing me. For teaching me what love really means. I will make you proud. I promise. She kept that promise. Threw herself into the foundation with renewed purpose. Expanded programs. Opened new centers. Changed laws. Within 5 years, they had helped 500,000 children. Within 10, 1 million. Greta worked beside her until she could not anymore. She died at 82. Peacefully. In her sleep. Surrounded by family. Katia and Amira. Amira's husband. Their children. 3 generations. All because one girl was brave enough to warn a stranger. Katia was 50 when she finally retired from active work. Handed leadership of the foundation to Amira. Who will do amazing things. Greta had always said. She was right. Amira expanded the foundation to every continent. Helped millions. Changed the world. Katia spent her final years writing. Memoirs. Stories. Lessons learned. All of it culminating in one book. The Girl Who Spoke Up. A memoir of courage, family, and second chances. It became an international bestseller. Taught in schools. Translated into 40 languages. Inspired a new generation of activists. On Katia's 70th birthday, the foundation held a ceremony. Unveiled a statue. 3 figures. Dietrich. Greta. Katia. holding hands. A family. The inscription read, "They chose each other and changed the world." Katia stood in front of it. Old now. Grey. Slow. But her eyes still held fire. A little girl approached. Maybe 8 years old. Shy. "Miss von Halen?" "Yes, sweetheart? I read your book. About how you saved the billionaire. How he saved you back." Katia smiled. "Did you like it?" "I loved it. Because I am like you. I am a refugee too. From Yemen. I was so scared. But the foundation helped me. I have a family now. A real family who loves me." The girl's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you for being brave. For speaking up. Because you did, I have a home." Katia knelt. Slowly. Her knees did not work like they used to. She took the girl's hands. "What is your name?" "Layla." "Layla. You are going to do extraordinary things. I can see it in you. The same fire I had. The same courage. Use it. Help others. Keep the ripple going." "I will. I promise." "Good girl." Katia watched Layla run back to her family. Saw them hug her. Laugh with her. Love her. And she knew. It worked. The dream worked. The ripple never stopped. Katia von Halen died at 76. Surrounded by family. Amira beside her. Amira's children. Their children. 4 generations. All because of one choice. At her funeral, thousands came. Children the foundation had helped. Families they had united. Leaders. Activists. People whose lives she touched. Amira gave the eulogy. "My sister taught me that courage is contagious. That one person's bravery can inspire thousands. That family is not about blood, but about choice." She was 9 years old. Alone. Invisible. But she chose to speak up. To warn a stranger. To be brave when it would have been easier to stay silent. And from that choice, everything changed. Amira looked at the casket. A billionaire found purpose. A grieving couple found healing. A refugee found family. And millions of children found hope. That is Katia's legacy. Not awards or accolades. Not money or fame. But lives changed. Families built. Hope restored. She wiped tears. "Thank you, big sister. For showing me what courage looks like. For teaching me that one person can change the world. For giving me a family. I will keep fighting. Keep helping. Keep spreading the ripple you started. Rest now. You have earned it." They buried her between Dietrich and Greta. 3 headstones side by side. Dietrich von Halen. Beloved husband and father. He listened when it mattered most. Greta von Halen. Beloved wife and mother. She loved fiercely and without limits. Katia von Halen. Beloved daughter, sister, and hero. She chose courage. And changed everything. 10 years after Katia's death, a documentary was made. The Girl Who Whispered. The Katia von Halen story. It told everything. The war. The streets. The opera house. The warning. The adoption. The foundation. All of it. The final scene showed the statue. 3 figures holding hands. Then the camera panned to children playing nearby. Laughing. Safe. Home. Children the foundation had helped. The narrator's voice. One girl. One choice. One whispered warning. From that, a family was born. From that family, a foundation. From that foundation, millions of lives changed. The ripple never stops. It just keeps going. Forever. The screen faded to black. White text appeared. The Emma and Katia Foundation has helped over 5 million children find families since its founding. It operates in 137 countries. And it all started because a 9-year-old refugee girl chose courage over silence. What will you choose? And somewhere in the world right now, a child is afraid. Alone. Invisible. Waiting for someone to see them. Someone to choose them. Someone to be brave enough to speak up. That someone could be you. Because courage is not about being fearless. It is about acting anyway. It is about choosing love over comfort. It is about believing that one person can make a difference. Katia proved it. Now it is your turn. What will you do? Who will you save? What ripple will you start? The world is waiting. And somewhere, a little girl who was brave enough to whisper a warning in the dark is smiling. Because she knows. Love always wins. Courage always matters. And one choice can change everything. This is Tales of Desire by Mr. Walker. Thank you for staying with this story from beginning to end. If it moved you, if it changed something in you, do not keep it to yourself. Subscribe to this channel so you never miss stories that remind you what really matters. Share this video with someone who needs to remember they have the power to change lives. Comment below and tell me, what is one brave thing you are going to do this week? Who is one person you are going to choose to see? Because stories like Katia's do not just entertain. They inspire. They challenge. They call us to be better. And the world needs more people willing to answer that call. So answer it. Be brave. Speak up. Choose love. And watch what happens. The ripple starts with you. See you in the next story, where we will explore more lives changed, more courage found, more hope restored. Until then, remember, you matter. Your choices matter. And you have the power to change everything. Just like Katia did. Just like you can.